Welcome along to the Ashes Daily. Day one of the Gabba Test. Kerry O'Keefe and Mark Waugh alongside me, and the perfect start for Australia. Junior?
It certainly was, Ish. They lost the toss, but I thought bowling first was going to be pretty good in these conditions. First ball of the day, Rory Burns goes, and then England struggled from there on. 147 all out England, Australia in the box seat.
Rewind to the start of the day before the toss, and Alex Carey was presented his cap by Adam Gilchrist. What a moment it was, Kerry.
Oh, there was so much respect inside that circle, wasn't it? Carey for Gilchrist, Gilchrist for Carey, and the whole team for both of them, and an embrace at the end. The captain was happy with how it went, and it began a spectacular day for this team. Carey tries it on for size. Well deserved. He's waited his time, and he was to have a good day behind the sticks.
Fabulous day for Australia, but what about the opposition? Joe Root has spoken about wanting to leave a legacy as captain. All England captains are judged by how they go in the Ashes. He is yet to win one, so lots of pressure on him coming over here. And at the toss, it wasn't a straightforward decision, was it?
No, it certainly wasn't. If I was England, I would have bowled first, because their strength is their seam attack. You know, the wicket's been under covers all week, very humid conditions, a grassy pitch. Now, I know it goes against most things, you know, to win the toss and bowl first, but this was the perfect storm for England to do it. They didn't do it, and they found batting extremely tough against the top quality Australian bowling attack. It
was the speed with which he said, we'll have a bat. He almost, the moment David Burns said, England the toss, he said, we'll bat. So he predetermined, we're batting. I'm backing my batsman despite no first-class cricket. Iffiness about the techniques against the moving ball. He decided, we've included the spinner, we're batting first.
Talk about the moving ball. The eve of the Ashes, there was news coming out of the camp that James Anderson would not feature for precautionary measures for his calf. They want him to be fit and available for Adelaide. But then in the morning, it was about Stuart Broad, and in the end, not playing Broad and Anderson. How big a call was that to make?
Well, that's a huge call. They're your two leading wicket takers. They've got 1,100 test wickets between them. At the start of this series, I thought the Gabba and Adelaide were the two grounds that Anderson and Broad would bowl really well at. Now, if Anderson's fit, he should have played. And the news is he is fit. Now, you're thinking about the second test. Let's play the first test first. Look at the conditions. Don't tell me Anderson would not bowl out of his skin in these conditions. So, big mistake, I think, from the England camp.
And that's why I think Chris Silverwood has decided, they've looked at the break time between the first test and the second. They know that Jimmy Anderson can move the pink ball, and Broad as well. And they've determined, no, we'll get out of Brisbane as best way we can, and we'll win in Adelaide with this pair fresh as daisies and not having to recover. You play what's in front of you. And what in front of them was a green mamba on day one. Moisture all day leading up. Yep. It was going to move around. We said at the time it was a bowl day, and Joe Root batted.
1,100 test wickets between Broad and Anderson. The last time neither of them featured in a test match for England was back in 2016. But it remains to be seen how the bowlers coming in will go. Chris Woakes, Ollie Robinson, Mark Wood, and of course Ben Stokes being available meant that they could play Jack Leach. When it came to it, though, it was Mitch Starc at the top of his mark. And then he did this. What a moment.
Yeah, it certainly was. And this is what Mitchell Starc can do with a new ball. You know, he can fire it straight and full with a bit of shape. And if you're not on your game, if you're an opening batsman and you're just looking for a nice one to tuck away for a single either side of the wicket, it's not going to come. Now, Rory Burns, people say, should have hit that. But, you know, your footwork's not quite there first ball. Starc was good enough at pace to swing it back late, cannon in the leg stump, and that got the ball rolling.
And you know it's going to be full first ball from Mitch Starc. There's no shortener to start. And Rory Burns' front foot, as Junior said, betrayed him. It went towards cover point. He expected something full outside off stump to try and get him to nick off, and he did him with the base of the leg stump Yorker. Well bowled Starc.
There's a bit of speculation around whether he would play the first test of the Ashes, so probably a bit of relief in there as well, Junior.
Yeah, look, there's always speculation about Mitchell Starc because the gap between his good and his bad days is very big, but that's why you pick him, because if he bowls well, he's going to get wickets. And I think opposition batsmen don't like facing him, so sometimes you've got to think of that as well. So I'm happy with the selection of Starc. He bowled well enough today to justify that selection.
Well, it was a perfect start. Is it a sign of things to come from Australia? Very first ball of the Ashes. We've seen a fair few different things happen with the first ball of an Ashes series. Just think back to Steve Harmison. Yeah. I'm sure he'd want to be reminded of that. What about Cam Green, though? He's had to wait a little while for his first Test wicket, Gary.
He has. And last year, look, I thought he bowled some good stuff, but this was a short one. He owes a lot of it to the work of Josh Hazlewood at fine leg. It was an errant stroke. It wasn't control, but Hazlewood had to make a lot of ground, and his elbows were always going to hit the ground. He had to hold once they did, and he did. Green had his first Test wicket. That's a breakthrough for him. Australia see him as a long-term all-rounder. And although Ollie Pope got a little bit on it, it wasn't enough. But Hazlewood moving in and to his left held safely. Terrific bit of out cricket by the Australian.
It certainly was. Cameron Green's bowled over 200 deliveries to get his first wicket. He's bowled better balls than that, but he's on the board now. He's got talent with the ball. We know that he hits it pretty hard. Got lucky there, but you need a bit of luck sometimes.
Who was your first Test wicket?
Curtly Ambrose, caught and bowled in Jamaica. Skull?
I started a lot higher up the batting order than Curtly Ambrose.
Well, who was it?
Keith Fletcher. Batting
Oh, Fletch. Did he
yeah.
go for a cut and it didn't spin?
No, he bat patted. He played for leg spin and it went straight on. Funny that.
Well bowled.
Well, that's what batters should have done to you, just play for no spin.
Yeah.
But Curtly Ambrose certainly got you back a few times.
Well, he
didn't
scored. He made a Test 50, I think, didn't he, Curtly? Maybe not. Anyway.
It wasn't memorable.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Well
bowled.
it was a special moment for Cam Green, but also when you think of Pat Cummins captaining the side for the very first time, bowling, everyone was wondering how he was going to go, brought himself into the attack early because Joe Root was out there, managed to extract Ben Stokes, then Hasib Hamid, who was looking hard to dislodge, and then the rest followed, removing the tail for not many runs and picking up his first fifer against England.
And it was signature Pat Cummins, wasn't it? 3 nicking off and 2 to the short ball. He's not trying to get you LBW a lot of the time or bowl you. He's looking to make you uncomfortable playing above your pad roll. And that's what he did there with that fifer. Terrific work from the skipper.
147 all out then, and Pat Cummins will be sleeping pretty well tonight, you would think. But what are we expecting tomorrow, Junior?
Well, I'm expecting the pitch to still do plenty. We saw this afternoon that the storms came in, so there's going to be some moisture there. There's going to be some movement. It's going to be humid again. I think the weather forecast is quite similar to today. So if England get the ball in the right spot, they're going to create chances. And you look at the Australian batting, it's a little bit thin. There's a few guys searching for runs. Harris, Travis Head, Cameron Green, David Warner maybe as well. So, England should be hoping, or they should be thinking we can knock Australia over for 150 to 200. If they do that, they're still in the game.
Kerry?
They'll be looking for 2 wickets early, won't they? I agree with Junior. Marcus Harris and Dave Warner, big watch on where they're at in their careers. If England were to pinch 2 in the first few overs and put Labuschagne and Smith under pressure, they could well lead on the first innings if there's the same moisture there was in day one.
England have certainly got the bowlers to do it. Junior, Kerry, thank you very much. Can England fight back tomorrow, or will Australia get an extended lead and set themselves up for this Test match at the Gabba? Join us tomorrow, day 2 of this first Ashes Test match on Fox Cricket.